When radicals stormed the Iranian embassy in London, taking 24 hostages, the British Special Air Service were sent after them. On May 5, 1980, the elite counter-terrorist squad donned NBC gear to protect them from nuclear, chemical, and biological weapons. The kit included items like a gas mask, hood, and boots. But the one piece of equipment that couldn't be used were the standard hazmat gloves. They were too bulky to fit inside the trigger guard of an HK MP5 submachine gun. Instead, operators were given standard military-issue aviator gloves. Most flight gloves at the time used a material called Nomex. Nomex is a lab-made fabric similar to Kevlar, officially called an aromatic polymer. Its flame-resistant properties made it popular among pilots and firefighters during the late 20th century. For SWAT units, Special Forces, and the British SAS, it represented a critically underdeveloped piece of kit, borrowed from other industries where dexterity and knuckle protection took a backseat to thermal tolerance. What they really needed was a dedicated tactical glove, one that was lightweight, impact-resistant, and still flexible enough to manipulate a firearm. Unfortunately, such a product wouldn't exist until more than a decade later. 1990. Brian Lunnis is a mechanic for the Yamaha Motocross team. It's a job that's tough on his hands, constantly tinkering with the suspension components of race bikes, day in and out. Traditional white cotton work gloves are difficult to get because of the multi-fiber arrangement, a trade agreement that restricted import of cotton textiles to the United States. Lunnis noticed other mechanics had switched to batting gloves instead. But they wore out quickly holding wrenches and impact drills rather than baseball gear. Finally, he decided to approach AXO, the sponsor for his racing team. AXO was an Italian motocross brand, famous for their riding boots, but they also had a rather groundbreaking pair of gloves on the market. The Series 29 was a set of lambskin and spandex mitts with an industry-first injection-molded plastic guard. It was their best-selling product, similar to the cotton gloves Lunnis was used to working with, but with a flexible protective shell. Unfortunately, this backing proved too clumsy for intricate mechanical work, and Lunnis began to report back to AXO with ideas and recommendations. They would end up sending him numerous motocross racing gloves, but he struggled to find a pair that would hit the sweet spot between protection and dexterity. The project eventually caught the attention of Jim Hale, the head of AXO's American distribution arm. Recognizing the potential to reach a new market, Hale split off from AXO to create Mechanix Wear and design a glove dedicated to mechanics. The Mechanix original glove made its debut at the 1991 Daytona 500 and was quickly adopted by all of NASCAR. Mechanix became an overnight success, proving the old racing adage, "What wins on Sunday sells on Monday." The gloves quickly found their way into every garage in the country, and it wasn't long before they became the glove of choice for other industries as well. Back at their headquarters in California, the company began to notice their gloves showing up in unexpected places. Oil drillers, carpenters, landscapers, factory workers, and various manual laborers were all taking advantage of the skin-tight protection, including the military. By the turn of the century, mechanics found themselves supplying specialty gloves to military garages, made for wrenching on Humvees in arid desert environments. From there, the transition to tactical applications occurred almost by accident. With the gloves in such close proximity to the front lines of Iraq and Afghanistan, soldiers began to pick them up on their way into combat zones. Just as Lunnis had modified racing gloves to fit his needs as a mechanic, special operators modified theirs to work on the hands of bomb squads, CQB teams, and elite snipers. Soon, Department of Defense contracts began rolling in, and Mechanix was officially developing the world's first tactical glove. One of the most popular modifications undertaken by soldiers was to cut off the trigger finger of their glove, allowing a more precise feel of the trigger. This was nothing new. Sporting gloves with fold-back trigger fingers had existed for shooting clays since the mid-20th century, but they lacked the impact protection and synthetic materials of a truly war-resilient piece of gear. Mechanix was quick to fill the demand. When a Tier 1 Israeli Special Forces unit came to them requesting a pair of custom tactical gloves, Mechanix collaborated with military manufacturer Agilite to design a glove using input from the field. What resulted was a semi-fingerless glove with a protective TPR backing. It leaves the wearer's thumb, index, and middle finger free to shoot, reload, use tools, or gesture at the enemy, while still protecting the rest of the hand from damaging impacts. An Armortex reinforced palm reduces felt recoil while improving grip. The Mechanix Agilite gloves have been in service for close to a decade now, proving their worth in countless conflicts throughout the Middle East. But while Mechanix was the first to provide an effective tactical glove, other players quickly entered the market. 511 Tactical, Oakley, Magpul, ECC, and PIG brought their own innovations to market, often with superior quality and superior price tags. Modern tactical gloves can feature cut-resistant, flame-retardant materials with grippy silicone palms and advanced cooling ventilation. Kevlar, Nomex, and carbon fiber are common, not to mention whatever black, coyote, or multicam pattern best fits in with the rest of your tactical LARPing gear. Despite the competition, Mechanix gloves have remained a staple in militaries and law enforcement around the globe. What was conceived as a solution to one Mechanix problem quickly grew into something much larger, becoming the standard in an industry they didn't even expect to invent. Although this channel has historically focused on knives and bayonets, I'd like to experiment with telling other stories, the history of all types of tactical gear and long-forgotten combat innovations. If that sounds interesting to you, consider leaving a comment to let me know. And remember to subscribe. Thanks for watching.